Minority members of parliament are accusing government of insensitivity towards the plight of cocoa farmers over the decision not to increase the producer price of cocoa for the 2018-2019 cocoa season. Minister of Food and Agriculture Dr. Akoto Owusu-Afriyie announced Monday government will maintain the price of each bag of cocoa at 475 cedis. Government says it is unable to increase prices despite the depreciating value of the cedi because of the declining price of the commodity on the world market. Member of the Finance Committee and NDC MP for Bia East, Richard Achampong, is challenging Cocoa Board to cut down its high operational cost and rather channel the money to farmers.
As I speak, the free fertilizer distribution has stopped and the farmers are asked to buy it at 80 Ghana cedis. School has reopened and you look at the price of goods and services in the country. Lorry fare has gone up, cocoa prices have gone up. Everything has gone up. So the disposable income of the cocoa farmer is going to be worse off. So they are pleading with government to at least increase the cocoa price for them so they can also make ends meet. They can also afford the goods and services you and I are affording. But they are raising the issue about the price of the cocoa on the world market price.
Yes.
But
isn't that justified? Isn't that justified? Where will government get money from to pay more for the cocoa?
Go to the headquarters of Cocoa Board. They've increased their administrative costs. They've increased the administrative expenses. So if you are telling me the cocoa farmer should not be given an increase, why are you increasing the administrative cost of those people living at the headquarters, living in air condition? The poor farmer who produces the cocoa for you to earn this income is not given any reward in this respect. So these are some of the things we're talking of. They are saying they're doing hand pollination. As a result, they'll get more yield. It's not 100%. It's not every farmer that's benefiting from the hand pollination. But if 100% of the people will not benefit from the free fertilizer distribution, when you increase the price, each and every farmer will also benefit. So these are the arguments. And it's not only cocoa that we can use to sustain the cocoa farmer. We have other revenues. That's why we brought in the subsidy to cushion people who used to buy the petrol product. It's not everybody that owns a vehicle, but if there's a leave on that product, people will also benefit. So the government should find money. That's why we created the stabilization fund, so that when you were making a gain, you put in some money as a buffer. So now that the price has reduced, you bring back the money and give it to the farmers.
My last question will be the decision not to increase the prices. What do you envisage the impact will be on cocoa production going into the next planting season?
As I speak, there's no motivation for the cocoa farmer to waste 6 or 8 time cultivating cocoa again. Now many people are diverting to cultivating cashew. And some people are giving their lands for these galamsey operators because they want a bulky money. So they, assuming they are getting, let's say, 200,000, they can use the money to invest in other products than to waste their time, cultivate cocoa, and by the end of the day, their disposable incomes will reduce.
Now, the much-anticipated Joy News special assignment documentary Who Killed the Judges will be premiering in just about 80 minutes. Raymond Akwa, the producer of the documentary, has joined me in the studio for this very, very important documentary. Now, Raymond, thank you for coming over. Now, this documentary, or rather what actually happened, has been a dark chapter in this country's history. This evening, what are we trying to do with it?
This evening, we are trying to let the people understand what happened from an objective, comprehensive point of view. Indeed, there has been different accounts from 1982 when this incident happened. We've had the SIB's, what they call it, first review, and the police investigative team worked on it. They gave the document to the SIB. The SIB prepared a docket, handed over to the public tribunal. Part of it got to the tribunal. The tribunal sought to prosecute people. Others were not put before the court. Others were not prosecuted at all. Then later on, we had the National Reconciliation Commission seeking to go back to these matters. But as we are being told, it was neither with the competence of a judicial body, so could not prosecute anybody, and also did not have what it takes to actually do, as critics have said, a thorough review on this matter. What you find in this documentary is the holistic review from right from 82 till now, what has happened over the period. The people who were involved, those who were purported to have been involved, those who were actually involved in the way of getting to the perpetrators and also arresting the suspects, and those who were in court, those who sat on the cases and decided that this one should go to jail, this one should not go to jail, are all in this documentary, seeking to give us some retrospective views on how best this nation can move forward with this particular matter.
Now, some names, some huge names, some very, very prominent names are going to be mentioned in this documentary.
Very much so.
And what do we expect to be the ramifications?
Not very much. I mean, not anything more than what is currently the case. I mean, this is to make sure that people are educated. This is to make sure that we have proper appreciation of our history. The names that are going to be mentioned in there will not be with malice. It's not as if we are just interested in naming or shaming people. We are interested in putting the facts right. And there isn't a single person mentioned on this report who is not legitimately involved or hasn't been over the period mentioned as being involved. Indeed, there isn't a single individual who is in this report today who do not have close links, who there is no evidence to suggest that did something wrong or is involved in this particular act right from 82 up to today.
What is one thing you tell anybody who's watching the news right now that they should stay tuned and watch this documentary in the next, which shows in the next 80 minutes?
So, to be clear, some have also talked about why this over the period has been dealt with and there's no need going back. If you spend quality time watching this, you have the most comprehensive appreciation of what happened. And I dare say, this is the biggest crime to have happened in this country. Mindful of the fact that almost 3 different attempts to remove the PNDC junta was related to this particular crime. Up till now, there's still a lot of controversy surrounding it. If you want to fully appreciate what all of this is really about, you cannot go beyond this documentary.
It's important to also talk about some of the processes we've gone through to get to this point. There are some things that, of course, we haven't shared with lots of the people who will be watching the documentary, which, as I indicated, will be showing in the next 80 minutes. But just give us some highlights.
So it's been almost 2 years, let's be clear. And virtually everybody in this enterprise had to, one way or the other, come in to aid your very good self, happen to help out in getting to the bottom of the matter in very varied ways. Also because of how controversial the issue is. 1, the willingness of people to give information freely. 2, the research required going back to 82 to get the right information, the unadulterated information, the missing reports that ought to be uncovered from where they happen to be, and also the individuals involved. Some of them are dead, others are very difficult to find. Some of them are purported to have died in the process. So we'll tell you about a gentleman who was supposed to have been shot dead and yet is still alive.
Oh, really?
Yes, in this particular documentary, in all of its forms. It's an interesting one, and if you get to fully appreciate it, you will understand that it's a lot of work that has gone in. It's an entire institutional team's work that's gone into putting this together.
All right, thank you very much, Raymond Akwa, who is a producer of the documentary Who Killed the Judges. Now, former chairman of the National Media Commission, Cabral Blay Amehe, has described Joy News' latest special assignment documentary, Who Killed the Judges, as a great effort aimed at bringing closure to a national tragedy. The documentary series focuses on crimes that shook the nation. And Mr. Blay Amehe, who was director of the Ghana Institute of Journalism and a columnist at the time of the incident, says many Ghanaians remain dissatisfied with the outcome of police investigations, despite the convictions the state secured. His colleague Ben F. Singh has also commended what he says will attempt to reconstruct history. First, listen to the former NMC chairman, Cabral Blay Amehe.
What this documentary would do, in my view, would be to initiate more dialogue conversation on that chapter of our history, with a view that it may never happen again. Those who could be held responsible, ultimately responsible for the gruesome murder, I'm sure will not have easy nights with this documentary coming up, because it means that this is an unresolved matter. It can keep coming and coming again. You know, in the U.S., people are still talking about find out who was exactly behind the assassination of Kennedy. And it's not new in history for people to look for closure. For as long as there are doubts, there are ifs and unresolved issues about 30th June, anytime the Bar Association and the nation mourns the death of the 3 and the officer, those people who were responsible, dead or alive, who have uneasy nights.
There are some who ask whether it is fair to the victims, those whose relatives, they lost their relatives in this whole incident.
Well, those were, to the extent that they were personal tragedies, we don't want to revisit and remind them about their sorrow, about their tragedy. But their tragedy was a national tragedy. And for as long as we don't have the ultimate answers, the nation has a right to keep digging and digging. Because when we find the real brains behind the murder, it will bring some serenity and some foreclosure to those families.
We can now listen to the managing editor of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, Ben Efton.
You know, a day after the bodies were found, then chairman of the PNDC said that that act had been allegedly been committed by opponents of the government to put the government in bad light. Personally, until there are other indications, those suspected to have been involved were executed. But I believe there was more to it. I mean, that is my personal feeling.
When you say there's more to it, what do you mean?
It's here.
One who asks that when you hear a documentary has been put together on the subject matter, what are your initial reactions to that thinking that a documentary has been put together on it?
I'll watch it, then I'll take a decision.
But do you expect to find answers to some of these more to it that you couldn't?
It may confirm some of the doubts that some of us have. But until I see it, I cannot say that it's a bad documentary or not.
What do you expect to find in it?
Well, rehashing of events. I'm sure if we talk to Judge Ajekum, the author of a book Who Killed the Judges, or tribunal chairman, he's spoken to Mr. Quanson, he's spoken to some of the investigators and so on. And when I don't know what is in there, I'll watch, then I'll take a decision. But it's a bold attempt, because he's talking about over 30 years now since the incident happened. Yeah.
Well, son of one of the murder judges, Kwabena Ejepong, has been recounting memories from the day.
I just went and slept. So it was only in the morning that we had a loud knock on the door, and it was coming from our next door neighbors, and that happened to be Justice Poku Sarkodie. So the wife came to come and inform my dad that last night the husband had been picked, and that she saw them. I think she argued a bit, but they were able to take the husband away. But apparently it was after that that they came to our house. We're not the next door neighbors. So I didn't even get it. I just got rushed up to my father's bedroom to go and tell him what has happened. I got to the bedroom, he wasn't there. So I went to my mother's room. I said, "Where's his daddy?" She said, "He should be asleep." So he's not there. I went downstairs, and the food remained the same way he left it. You know, not finished eating, nobody had touched it, you know, so we were confused. Then I also ran out of the house and went to Justice Eduse's house, which is just across. The judges used to stay around the Ridge area. So it was when I got to Justice Eduse's house that he confirmed that this was what he called Justice Apalu, who was then the Chief Justice at the time. So it was then that we realized that there was something serious happening, and that some 3 judges had been picked the previous night.
And do stay tuned. We will be bringing you reactions from some key personalities who are connected to this particular incident that happened over 30 years ago. We're bringing you comprehensive coverage post the screening of who killed the judges. Now, young poet Sabukio Sabote has been wrapping it all up artistically in the following piece.
If their souls could speak, they would tell of a good story. A story that will keep mouths quivering. A story that will be the unending truth on the tongues of future generations. A story that will bring their children peace. A story that will be history. But this untold story is left behind. Justice Kojo Ejepon, Justice Frederick Poku Sarkodie, Justice Cecilia Afran Kranting Ado, who killed the judges.
The opposition National Democratic Congress NDC is accusing board chair of the audit service, Professor Edward Dua Ajimang, of sourcing auditing work to private firms without the approval of the Auditor General in an attempt to witch hunt former appointees of the NDC administration. General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esedun Ketia, reveals that so far $6.8 million has been paid to these private firms to audit former appointees who are already being investigated by the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, describing the move as a waste of public funds to the detriment of urgent national concerns. The party's reaction comes weeks after portions of an audit report by private firm Morrison and Associates were published in the media, claiming that over 800 million Ghana cedis was misappropriated by state agencies under the previous administration. Mr. Sedun Ketia is challenging Senior Minister Yao Safo-Maafo and Cabinet Secretary Deborah Kakari to provide proof that the audit was legally done by a legally constituted subcommittee of Cabinet.
Under the 1992 Constitution, it is only the Auditor General who is authorized to carry out audits of state agencies, where for some good reason such audits have to be carried out by private firms. The Auditor General's consent has to be sought. Indeed, it is the Auditor General who is supposed to choose the firms and authorize them on their mandate. Our information is that this did not happen in this case, and that these private firms were sole sourced by Mr. Edward Dua Ajimang, who also works in the office of the Senior Minister, Mr. Yao Safo-Maafo. We also have information that it was Mr. Osafo-Maafo's idea to convert the illegal reports of the unauthorized private firms into a supposedly cabinet committee report. This was after the Auditor General had refused to own the audit and issue a report on them on professional ethical grounds.
The Auditor General Daniel Domolovo had petitioned President Akufo-Addo of what he calls unlawful interference in his work by board chairman Dr. Edward Dua Ajimang. Mr. Sedun Ketia believes the investigation commissioned by the President is a deliberate attempt by government to cover up its corrupt activities.
There is a grand scheme to first dissipate public funds, to cover up for that dissipation. You understand? So that they paint everybody with the brush that the CID boss once said that, oh, our purpose is just to paint the government white and let them continue doing their work. So that painting white, the whitewashing, is what is going on. And before you can do that whitewashing of crime, you must control the painter. You see? So what is happening in Bank of Ghana, they are in control of the painter there because they changed the governor and the deputies. Now, by some dint of good luck, they had the opportunity of appointing the Chief Justice and several, Supreme Court justices.
The NDC also claims the UNDP provided the funds used for the ongoing audit they describe as wasteful. Hence, the party will petition the UN agency to investigate the conduct of Professor Edward Duah-Agyeman.
To be fair to UNDP, I'm sure they didn't do any background check, or maybe they didn't know the person who is going to handle that job. That's why they will be sanctioning such a thing. Because if they know the things we have brought up today, I'm not sure anybody in UNDP will sanction anything like that. That is why we are going to show this evidence to the UNDP that if you are dealing with this person, you are dealing with somebody who looks like a fraudster.
So when are you going to petition them, by the way?
Oh, this is the beginning. They also pick information based upon which they do their country reports. They have a resident representative. We will go and give them a copy of our press conference today and draw their attention to what is contained in there about the background of the character they are dealing with.
When John is reached Professor Duah-Agyeman for a reaction, he refused to comment publicly on the matter, but indicated he's considering legal action against the NDC for denigrating his image. And we're taking a break to bring you business news, but just by way of reminder, the special assignment documentary, Who Killed the Judges? The premiere will be airing in less than 60 minutes. Do stay tuned for that. It comes up at 8:30. Business news is next.
Good evening to you and welcome to Business for Tonight. Ghanaian pilot Solomon Kwenu of Emirates Airlines made history on Tuesday when he became the first to fly the world's largest passenger aircraft, the Airbus 380, to the Kotoka International Airport. In an exclusive interview with Joy Business, Captain Kwenu urged the youth to work hard to achieve their goals in life. He said he has come to the realization over the years that with passion, every dream will be achievable.
Young boy growing up in Ghana from a relatively poor family, becoming a pilot was a bit of a challenge in terms of finances, but I had belief in my heart that I can definitely make it. So even when I was in school, I was dressing like a pilot, wearing my gloves and stuff like that, and keeping the faith. And but I had faith, I had determination, but never ever dreamt that I'll be the first Ghanaian to fly the biggest passenger aircraft for the first time into my country. And that feeling was just unbelievable. And on touchdown, when we exited the runway and turned onto the apron, my eyes were full of tears. I was just crying for joy.
I mean, I'm sure that some of the people watching us, or the youth in particular, people or kids who are growing up and have the dream to become like yourself, would like to hear some few words from Captain as to what they can do to one day probably fly, if there will be another bigger aircraft than the A380 that you have been flying.
Yeah, all the kids I see who I have a few mentors, people I mentor in the UK. We were mentoring a lot of kids from low-income background, and we did a lot for them. But what I tell them, a lot of them, when they see me, they say, "Oh, we want to be like you when we grew up." And I tell them, "No, don't be like me, because in order to move forward, your back foot should always go in front of the front foot. If it comes to where the front foot is, you are at standstill, you can't move forward. So aim to do better than what I have done. That brings progress. So I pray that you achieve your dream, but aim to do better than I have done. That is what brings progress. So I encourage them to be determined, to believe, keep believing, and regardless of the limitations and hindrances, once they believe and they are determined and keep believing and pushing forward, they will definitely get to their dreams and achieve their dreams.
Meanwhile, the world's biggest passenger aircraft, the Airbus 380, landed at the Kotoka Airport to commemorate the opening of the Terminal 3 project. Ghanaian pilot Captain Solomon Kwenu taxied the luxurious Emirates Airbus 380 onto the apron to a tumultuous welcome. Minister for Aviation Joseph Kofi Adda, who headed the government delegation to the airport to welcome the flight, said the arrival of the world's biggest aircraft in Accra is an indication Ghana is poised to be an aviation hub within the sub-region. Sheila Tamaklo was there in our reports.
At about 11:50 a.m., the world's largest aircraft, the Emirates Airbus A380, touched ground at the Kotoka International Airport Terminal 3. The double-decker aircraft was piloted by the nation's own Captain Kwenu alongside a mixed cabin crew. According to Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Adda, the historic landing is significant to the country's drive of becoming an aviation hub on the continent.
This means that we've come of age in the sense that we can take any type of aircraft from any part of the world, and then we have all it takes, all the gadgets, all the tools, all the services to support the landing and taking off of an aircraft, the service of an aircraft here. And so the Ghana airport has been improving itself over the years. Now we are where we can really become the hub for the sub-region and possibly Africa. I think we're coming back to where we used to be.
Managing Director of the Airports Company Limited, John Atifo, said his outfit will employ the highest safety and maintenance standards.
Safety is our major priority, and we've been able to get the award for the best airport safety improvement. Going forward, we want to do more, especially in customer service. So we've joined the Air Service Quality, Airport Service Quality program, which is run by Airports Council International. And that allows us to compare our services, our ratings with airports with the same capacity. We think that with that, it will put us on our toes and we will be able to serve our customers better.
The Emirates Airbus A380 can take over 500 passengers and comprises of multiple classes. The aircraft can boast of a private suite, a spa and a bar. The economy class also comes with some luxury. A well-fitted entertainment set to make that journey a memorable one is not only preserved for the big payers, but also for the economy class. Sheila Tamaklo for Joy Business.
Away from aviation now, officials from the Ghana Revenue Authority embarked on an exercise to ensure manufacturing companies comply with the tax stamp policy. Products belonging to some beverage manufacturing companies, including Coca-Cola and Casapreco, were not allowed onto the market on Tuesday during the morning exercise. Ebenezer Sabuti has the rest of the story.
In compliance with the Excise Tax Act passed by Parliament in 2013, all carbonated and alcoholic beverage must be embossed with tax stamps giving indication of having paid the right taxes. On Tuesday morning, the media in the company of the GRA's communication outfit toured some beverage companies in Accra, where separate tax force units were positioned to ensure compliance. The companies include Coca-Cola, Casapreco, Gihog Distilleries, Accra Breweries Limited, and the Blow Group of companies, among others. The first point of call was the premises of Coca-Cola Company Limited. Here, the task force detained some products destined for various marketing centers, which were without tax stamps. Leader of the team at Coca-Cola, Emmanuel Spio Abeidu, noted the team's mandate is to ensure that any excisable products of the company is duly affixed with a tax stamp before they enter the market.
Having noticed that some have flouted the law and the deadline is passed, we are here at Coca-Cola to make sure that any product that they have manufactured which is going outside the premises, which is not affixed, we are going to stop that product. So if in case there is a vehicle that has moved out of the premises and going with the product without the affixing of the stamps, we are going to stop that vehicle and make sure that so far no product has moved out. But we have spotted some product in there that will be moving out, but they don't have them. So we know that already the violation is already in place. But by law, this premises is part of the factory. So people can argue that it's still on the premises. And when they get out, that is where we put our action in place.
The next destination was a Blow Group of companies after a short stop at Casapreco. The task force seized all products that were ready to be sold but had not been affixed with a tax stamp. Commercial manager of the Blow Group of companies, Robin Kojowu, explained that the company encountered some challenge with the tax affixing machine, hence the inability to emboss stamps on all the products.
Now, you could have come a bit earlier, about 3 months ago, you would have seen that We have gone through a lot of challenges. As I said earlier on, we have to adjust certain things. We have to add sensors to certain areas of the machine to be able to run this thing smoothly. And it has not been very easy for us. Trust me, these machines, as I keep on saying, I'm not going to give you the cost anyway, but as I keep on saying, they are very, very expensive. For our beverage side, we brought 2 machines, and none of them could fit into those machines, you know. So we have to send them back and then get, 2 additional, which is on the way coming now. And this has not been easy. See, we want to comply, but if industry has to go through all these things to be able to comply with this, I don't think it's the best.
Before exiting the premises of the company, the tax force sealed all trucks loaded with products not affixed with the tax stamps. The team also went to the Achimota Mall, ShopRite and other major beverage trading shops in Accra. GRA says the exercise will continue until there is a full compliance of the excise tax stamp policy. Ebenezer Sabote's report for Joy Business.
And that's all we have for you in business tonight. For more business, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Biafi. Have a good evening.
Technology that is yet to be fully harnessed in Ghana to boost the tourism offerings. Experts believe it's scaled up and streamlined. The hot air balloon flight could showcase some of the country's picturesque landscapes. I got a bird's eye view of the Accra Plains on Tuesday, together with GH1's TV, Nanaba Namwa, as we took flight in the Cowbell hot air balloon, and Komlando was there to report.
Day 2 of the second phase of the Cowbell in the Sky project. We're here on a football field inside Afinia, which is not too far away from the Afinia police station. And the team is expected to fly from here. The balloon has been inflated, and right after the inflation, the air inside the balloon will be heated mechanically, and then it will take off. In a very short time, Israelaye and Nanabanama will get into the basket and off the above the earth, and they will be beholding the beautiful landscape, you know, around the Afinia enclave.
Yes. So with this you can capture the last moments of your life.
You can see Cedar Quarry. Cedar Quarry is a company over there, and the
rock formation. Israel, take a look at the rock formation.
Yeah, see that.
Oh my God!
Congratulations, Israel.
Thank you.
You conquered this.
Yeah, did it. So now
Peasy. It was easy peasy.
It's a great view. We saw a whole lot of the Accra Plains like nobody has ever seen it before. We also saw the sunrise again like nobody has ever seen it before. So we had some really great moments up there.
Amazing. And the scene up there is such a picturesque. It's breathtakingly gorgeous. I've had so much fun. Think as a country we should take advantage. We can make a lot of money from this if we take advantage of the presence of Cowbell and what they're doing with this hot air balloon. I mean, it's good for tourism.
Pilot Kon Odina and his team are taking the students of Chemusina High School through the practical demonstration of how the hot air balloon works. Earlier we were at the assembly hall where they were taking through the theoretical aspects of the principle of Archimedes.
So before I hadn't, because most of the things that we did in class are theory based. So bringing this here is good.
What did you see?
I saw that the balloonists, sent some hot gases into the balloon, which made it rise.
But they were putting some flames in the balloon to make it erect.
I saw the balloon was being inflated and some flames were put into the balloon to enable it to move up.
It's been very beneficial because we learned about Archimedes principle, but we have no idea about how it is in real life. So bringing this has helped me to see how it is, and maybe it has given me an opportunity for me to maybe work as a balloonist in future.
How do you reckon this balloon, hot air balloon technology can boost our tourism in the country?
It can attract foreign tourists who are interested in this kind of this aspect. being it, flying in the air, like the paragliding and all those stuff. So I think it's going to attract foreign exchange to the country, bring in investors too.
Well, so you can go to my Facebook page and you can get to see a whole lot more of the view as I captured from up there. Now, U.S. First Lady Melania Trump on Tuesday began her two-day visit to Ghana, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, where she interacted with the staff of the Child Welfare Unit. She donated a phototherapy machine on the first day in Ghana and also gave out teddy bears to the newborns at the facility. Mrs. Trump is in Ghana as part of her 5-day visit to Africa. Hannah Dami has more in the following report.
Melania Trump is in Ghana for a 2-day visit as part of her 5-day visit to Africa, including Malawi, Kenya and Egypt. She was met at the Kotoka International Airport by First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo, Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayiko-Botwe and other dignitaries. After a welcome by some school children and a traditional welcome troop, the two First Ladies visited the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Her trip is believed to be in line with her recently launched campaign aimed at protecting children's welfare and good behavior, dubbed Be Best. Principal Nursing Officer at the Child Welfare Clinic, Gladys Scholastica, conducted the U.S. First Lady round her unit.
There are babies and mothers here, also waiting to welcome you. It is a typical child welfare clinic in Ghana. We see children below 5 years and below, and it is aimed at monitoring their growth so that they can be healthy, avoid them from illnesses in them. We take care of the mothers and babies, doing health education, growth monitoring, milestone monitoring, vaccination, counseling, family planning services, and then we refer appropriately when necessary.
Mrs. Trump then distributed gifts to the mothers and children.
What do you eat?
The beneficiary mothers could not hide their joy.
Oh, we are just happy. All the mothers, we are very, very happy about it. Yeah, it's a privilege that we met the First Lady of US. Yeah, so we are very happy.
We are really impressed. We are not expecting this to happen. We thank God for bringing her, and we know God will send her safely. We are also happy that He came to look at our children's health. May God richly bless her.
Mrs. Trump also donated a phototherapy machine to the hospital. The medical director here, Dr. Emmanuel Serfanyo, told Joy News, though his facility have some of these machines, the machine donated by Mrs. Trump, which is believed to be one of the best in the world, according to him, will help them save more babies.
And this particular equipment is one of the best in the market, and so we are very excited that this machine has been donated. We do have some others. This one is going to add to the number of phototherapy equipment that we have, which is going to go a long way in saving the lives of babies who develop that complication of jaundice during the neonatal period. So we are indeed very excited and happy.
Mrs. Trump later had tea with Mrs. Akufo-Addo and will be at the Cape Coast Castle tomorrow. For joining us, my name is
Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah says a petition by Customers Affairs Allied Savings and Loans will be referred to the government's economic management team. The move is to bring a lasting solution to the over 4-month-old impasse between management and customers of the bank. The aggrieved customers earlier embarked on the demonstration before presenting the petition to the Ashanti Region Coordinating Council. Prince Appiah followed the protesters and filed this report.
Holding placards with different inscriptions, the aggrieved customers clad in red and black started a demonstration from the Children's Park. They walked through some principal streets of Kumasi to drum home their displeasure over their inability to access their deposits. Here are some aggrieved customers.
Going for our money at the bank, anytime you get there, they tell you there is no money. You have to wait for the end of the month. We've been waiting for several months, which is about 4 to 5 months now, and still we are not getting even a penny from the bank. Me, for instance, I have my staff at the port, which I have to take it. Some of them are perishable goods. If I don't get this money to take that stuff, it means all the perishable goods are going to be perished. Hey, we need our money so that we can business with it, we can feed our kids with it, we can take our kids to school and everything. My kids are home because I don't have money to take them to school.
And we are begging the government of this country. He said we should be citizens, and we are all pleading to the government. If not Kumasi, he can never and ever be president. Because of us that he's the president of Ghana. And we are just begging him. We don't want to, what happened to Mahama will happen to him. So we are just pleading that he should come to our aid and give us our money.
One of the leaders, Justice Akwesi Echampong, says they will organize another demonstration at the Flagstaff House if their grievances are not met.
This petition is going to be for just 1 week. If we don't hear from them 1 week, we are going to Accra with VIP bus to Nanado's. So, Nana, please, we are honestly need you. Come for our aid. Come for our...
Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah received a petition from the protesters. He says the issue will be referred to the economic management team to look into it.
And you ever heard the bit my waha? Na ya de diakano so akoda yen economic management team no. Na de omo so wa mbeka fa ho no. No omo so aka. And also communicate to the authorities above us, our superiors, and we make sure that the necessary action will be taken to ensure that we will reduce or minimize whatever suffering the people are going to face. Third, we are going to meet the management of First Allied, and also we will meet representatives of the central bank within the region and try as much as possible to solve this problem.
Meanwhile, officials of First Allied Savings and Loans Company Limited were not available for comment. The crisis in the financial services sector continues to extend to other tiers if something is not done quickly to protect depositors. Prince Apia reporting.
Now, days ago, a homeless 4-year-old boy died in his sleep when a truck loaded with orange juice crashed on him as he slept on the pavement at CMB here in Accra. His homeless mother had gone to buy oranges to sell, only to return to the lifeless body of her son. Our reporter Emmanuel Jivenu spent the night on the streets of Accra. Most of the homeless people he spoke to said they are forced to sleep in front of shops and pavements due to the high cost of accommodation here in Accra.
This is the CMB area in Accra. It currently hosts a huge population of headquarters growing by the day. It is 8 p.m. and the frontage of shops here are gridlocked with dozens of women covered with cloth trying to catch some sleep before returning to the following day's hustle. Auntie Ruth is a cleaner. Just like many others here, she's unable to rent an apartment and thus has resorted to passing the night in front of shops in the city center. She recounts a horrific accident in which a truck loaded with oranges crashed her nephew, killing him instantly.
The
truck was set to offload oranges in the market when its brake failed, crashing the head of the child, who was lying on the floor. He died on the spot. The mother had gone to buy goods when the incident happened.
And I
was also not around. By the time the mother returned, the accident had occurred and the boy was dead. The corpse has been deposited at the Ghana Police Hospital. We are afraid these big trucks may one day run over us too. If we had a decent place to rent and sleep, we would not be here risking our lives sleeping in front of these shops.
These squatters live in constant fear as they are exposed to persons who assault and steal from them. They are exposed to harsh weather conditions and the continuous flooding worsens their woes.
Ghana should help us so that we will get good place to sleep. And even though where we are sleeping to, there is tips. they are stealing us. They will steal us. We are even tired, Kurampo. We are begging Nana to help us so that we will do whatever we want. And Nana too should help us to get work to do, good work and so many things. For the reindeer, it's not fair. The rain will beat us even afternoon time. We don't have even sitting place to sit down and the rain go before we come out. We were just standing on the rain. Even our workplace, there is rain. Our sleeping place, there is rain. So we don't know how to do again.
Like some people, some are top and some people are sleeping down there. So if it's raining, we will just get up and be standing. We will not sleep. We will stand till daybreak or till the rain stops.
Ghana, according to experts, is currently experiencing a housing glut. But many low and middle income earners cannot afford decent accommodation. Ironically, the 1,500 Saglami housing project continues to gather dust while these poor and vulnerable fellows sleep outside. All they are asking for is to be helped to get off the streets.
If government can build affordable houses for us and charge us at least 1 Ghana cedi for each night, we will very much appreciate it. So that when we are done selling our goods, we can just leave this place and go and sleep.
Could a real affordable housing project be the solution for people like Auntie Ru, for example? Emmanuel Jivenu's report for Joy News.
Right, so as I've been telling you all evening, it's about time for Joy News' special assignment documentary, Who Killed the Judges? We've been talking about this all day and we've been anticipating it. It's now time. And Kojo Yangsing, my colleague, is here and is going to be telling us about how the coverage is going to be done. Kojo Yangsing, who I call KY. Welcome.
Yes, well, tonight is the night. It's so long anticipated. Big event. Journalism playing its role to fill in a gap in history. And we're going to do it in style. So, of course, in a few minutes' time, we will start the documentary itself. It's 90 minutes of revelation, at the end of which we obviously have to try and digest what we've just seen. And so we'll do that with a panel here in the studio. But we'll also be going out to the streets, to some people that we have situated in vantage points to watch the documentary with others and tell us how people are reacting to it. Not just random people as well, but those who are involved in the plot of it. You know, son of one of the victims, Kwabena Ajapong. We have people in his home who will be watching the documentary with him. And at the end of the airing, we'll find out how he has been struck by it. It's going to be emotional, it's going to be revealing, it's going to be spectacular, and it's quite historical. Don't you feel a sense of history?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
So as I've been telling you, Who Killed the Judges, a special assignment documentary comes up in a moment. Do stay tuned. But the news, that's it for the news for this evening as I hand over to Kojo Yangsing.
Right. Well, the wait is over. It has been a long wait, but the time is now. The day Joy News' special assignment told you the riveting story of the murder of some 3 Superior Court justices and a former military officer. It's all wrapped up nicely in this documentary, Who Killed the Judges? It's a documentary which is part of a series on crimes that shook the nation. So sit back, relax, and enjoy 90 minutes of research and journalism.